stand it anymore. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here.
Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Stewardess, please let me handle this.
I've got to get out.
This is the way.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brett, and you have stumbled across the Chopperfett channel. What do I gotta get away? I gotta get away from everything. I want a loud ass Harley Davidson Dyna, and I got a ton of wind noise going on around me, especially right here once we pass this clearing, and it's still quieter than it is at my own house. True story, true story. Anyway, that's not what the point of this story is about. Today's video is actually going to be a response video to one that my dad did. So he's always been so kind to kind of do my challenges. I decided I would go ahead and do his challenge video as well. His challenge was name a time that you did something extremely stupid. And I'm not going to tell you what, it's finally happened. I'm going to tell you the story of the Lewisburg cider mill. That's right, the incident that caused this bike to become what it has become. So this was back when I was still a new rider. I believe it was my first riding season. I got the bike over to Dad's house as it was been staying with a buddy until I could, get my own permanent garage. And so I moved it to Dad's, and it was getting towards the end of riding season. I remember it definitely being colder out. And up at one of the local establishments, one of those little garages, apartment things that you can rent for your car, they were having a cars and coffee. So I decided, I know my motorcycle is not a car, but there's usually bikes there. I'll go to the cars and coffee. Again, me being new, I think cars and coffee from my dad's house was maybe 7, 8, 10 miles, something like that. Not a long ways. So I decided to, hop on and go. Now, it was windy that day. It was sure windy that day.
The sea was angry that day, my friends. Like an old man trying to send back soup in a deli.
But, I thought good practice, and I got to the cars and coffee. I was able to park. I was able to see some people from my local car club at the time, and they were able to see the bike for the first time. So it was a nice overall experience to kind of, do something different, Instead of me always doing car stuff with my Focus ST that I had at the time, I brought my motorcycle, and people were able to sit on it, and I was like, all right, this is actually a pretty good day. And so the morning goes on, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and head out, and I decided I will surprise my wife and go pick up a dozen or so of the apple cider donuts from the Lewisburg cider mill. When you are in a car and you don't ride motorcycles, you don't really think of obstacles that can get in your way. Well, when you ride a motorcycle, there's some things that if you're not paying attention, they'll come up and they'll bite you square in the ass. And sure enough, that's what happened at the cider mill. So, the trip out to the cider mill, you get there by taking a 50-mile-per-hour road north and south, and so I was going right into the wind down this road called Metcalf. That wasn't a big deal. I get onto what they call 68 highway, which goes east and west, and the wind was coming pretty heavily from the south, so it was really trying to push us from left to right, the exact same way that we are headed right now. Speed limit on that road was 65, and I was able to maintain it, but man, it was really pushing. I'm thinking the wind that day was at least 25. The flags were straight out, and again, I'm a newish rider, probably riding beyond my ability. See where this is going? So I keep on going, and I get, you know, probably about a half mile from the side of it. I'm like, all right, there it is. I'm gonna start slowing down, start slowing down, and then all of a sudden my mind goes blank. I don't know what happened. Oh, good story, Chopper. I mean, trying to tell us a story, you don't know what happened? It's exactly what I'm telling you. I don't know what happened. As you approach the side of the bill, coming down in the right hand lane, as you turn in, there's gravel runoff all over the place, and even their driveway was partly gravel until you get to the actual parking lot itself. So I don't know what happened. All I know is the handlebars started going reet, and then I was on my side. I wasn't going very fast, maybe 5 to 10. Like, I was slowing down to make the turn. The only thing that I could think of that I did was I was slowing down for the turn. I saw some gravel and I hit a handful of front brake. I went down on the right hand side, and the rear exhaust, I don't even know, no, it wasn't the exhaust because that would have been way too hot. But the frame of the bike, the tail back side of it, it landed on my leg, and that's where it kind of like actually pinned me down. Now, I have never in my life experienced adrenaline before. Like, I never had a shot of it.
You're gonna give it a shot. I ain't giving her the shot. I never done this before. I ain't never done it before either, all right? I ain't starting now. Look, you brought her here, and that means that you're gonna give it a shot.
You know, I've, had some big sports moments in my time being, the jock that I am. No, just kidding. But, I've never actually experienced like a true adrenaline rush, because they say you do things when you've had that shot of adrenaline that you should not be able to do. That's exactly what it is. So picture me, I'm on the ground, I'm in the dirt, the bike's on its side, and it's got my right leg pinned. I don't know how I was able to do it, but I was able to push the bike up, and mind you, I'm laying down doing this. I was able to push it up just enough, and I got my leg free. I was like, whew, did it. Now the next thing was getting the bike back upright by myself. I was able to, smartly, I went ahead and flicked the kickstand down, and I was able to rock the bike up. Again, I'm still feeling this adrenaline rush. Sit back on the bike, look down, I got, error messages, what have you, going berserk because the bike had tipped. Cleared them out, and the bike started right back up. I'm like, okay. Bike started back up. There's, let's just get into the parking lot, we can assess the damage. So the damage assessed to the bike was fairly minimal, actually. There was a small dent in the tank and some paint chips. The exhaust and some of the other panels were scraped up pretty bad, but overall it wasn't a terrible slip. And mind you, this was also before I got the crash guards, so yeah, the tank took most of the damage along with the exhaust. So we haven't even reached the stupid part yet. I better speed this up. So I go ahead and go inside, and I go ahead and buy my donuts. The lady asks, am I okay? And because obviously I have a winciness going on about me. I was like, yeah, it'd just be nice if you guys paved your driveway instead of me falling. But other than that, it's good. And I don't even think it registered, why I even said that to her. So that would just basically went on deaf ears. So I decided to go ahead and eat a donut while I'm there, kind of give myself a little bit of a rest. And I'm contemplating, what do I do now? My dad had just started riding. I didn't want to call him. I didn't want to call my wife. I didn't want to have the bike towed. I was just like, what do I do? And here's where the stupidest thing I ever did in my life turns in. I rode the bike back to my parents' house in the worst possible pain I've ever been in as far as a bodily thing. I've never broken a bone, never dislocated anything. I've barely twisted an ankle, but this just completely was a different animal. So I was able to, you know, got back on the bike and, you know, get back onto the highway road and fight the wind. And within like 2 or 3 seconds after kind of getting up to speed, I just feel the pain just kind of just shooting all the way up my leg. I'm like, oh God, this hurts. I don't have tears in my eyes riding, but it's like, I don't ever want to ride again. I don't ever want to ride again. I just want to be over with the day and never want to ride again.
It's over.
So keep on going, and I don't know how, but like, I had no feeling in my left foot, so I couldn't tell if I could apply the rear brake. I couldn't tell any of that. All I knew is my leg felt dead. Finally got home after about the 35 to 40 minute ride it was from the cider mill to Dad's house, and got off the bike. And looking back on it as a new rider, I just feel like that was probably the stupidest thing I've ever done as a rider. What I should have just done is call someone who would have been more capable to have gotten the bike home and went from there. But even though it was dumb, even though it was stupid to do this, I think it made me a better motorcycle rider. I didn't really learn too much from the accident because, again, my mind doesn't remember any of it. But I remember the perseverance. And there's been many times in life where I wanted to quit stuff, and I just quit. And I don't even really know why. So for me to get back on that bike and prove that I could get back home, by the time I got home, I was like, I do want to ride the bike again, but I have to wait for my ankle to heal first. Again, luckily this was towards the end of the riding season, and we're probably talking, oh, I don't know, probably November-ish, maybe October. I was off the bike for about a month before I kind of started taking it back out for some, you know, little short rides again, and it kind of went from there. But that there is my my Lewisburg cider story. I know I've been putting it off for 3 years, however long I've been doing this. So there you have it. The tank is different, the exhaust is different, the air intakes, the entire bike's different because of what happened that day. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this story. It's not one of my most proud moments, but you know, we all have to live and accept the consequences of our actions sometimes, and that was mine. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will catch you on the next dark side, as this is the way. Chopperfett, see you in the next one. Later.